In this video, we'll be showing you some of the basic functions of the iPad. Specifically, we'll be going over the different buttons and what they do, how to charge the iPad, connecting to the internet, as well as some other basic settings and controls. When you first receive the iPad from us, it's very likely that it will be turned off. In order to turn the iPad on, you simply go to the button at the top right-hand corner of your iPad and press it and keep holding it down until the screen lights up with the Apple logo in the middle. So the button we just showed you at the top right-hand corner is called the power button. So in addition to turning your iPad on, you will also use this button to turn your iPad off. To turn the iPad off, we want to do the same as we did when we turned it on by pressing and holding the button and not letting go until you see this little slider appear. So if we follow the instructions on the slider, it says slide to power off. You want to put your finger on this little button and slide it over and your iPad will turn completely off. The power button also doubles as what we call the lock screen button and can be used to just simply turn off the display of the iPad but not completely power it off. This is useful when you want to put the iPad down for a little bit, but you know you're going to be using it again shortly and don't want to completely power it down. So rather than pressing and holding the power button to turn it off, we're simply going to just press the button once to turn off the iPad display. When the iPad is locked, rather than pressing and holding the button, we again can press the power button once and the display will come back on. Alternatively, we can also press what's called the home button to turn on the iPad display. So that is that little circular round button at the bottom middle of the iPad, and if you just press it once, you will see again the display turns on. Currently, the iPad is in what we call a locked state, meaning even though the display turns on, the iPad itself is locked and we cannot access any of our applications. In order to unlock the iPad, you just have to press the home button once more, and you will see that now we have access to all of our applications. If we go over to the top right-hand corner where the power button is, and slide down just a little bit, you will notice that there's two more buttons on the side here. These are the volume keys, so they're used to control the volume of the iPad. So the top button makes the volume go louder, and the bottom button brings the volume lower. You'll see that when you're adjusting the volume, there's a little slider that comes up on the screen to show you your volume level. In addition to the buttons that we just showed you, you'll also need to use the screen of the iPad itself to control the iPad, because the screen is actually a touch screen. In order to open different programs or applications on the iPad or switch between the different pages of the main menu, you'll need to use your finger to actually touch the screen and complete the actions that you want. So if you wanted to open or use an application or feature, you would just take your finger and touch the one that you want, and the action will be registered and it will open the application that you just touched. When you're done using an application or program and you want to return to the main menu, you would just need to press the home button one time, and it will close the application you were just using and bring you back to the main menu of the iPad. Since the iPad is an electronic device, you will have to charge it from time to time. In order to see if you need to charge the iPad or not, you'll need to turn on the iPad and look at the top right-hand corner of the display. Here you will see a little battery icon in the corner, along with the percentage right next to it that tells you what percentage of battery you still have left to use on the iPad. So in order to charge it, we'll need to go look at the bottom of the iPad. Here you will see that there's a little cover blocking the battery charging port. If you just pull that cover off, you will see that there's a little port right here at the bottom of the iPad. So that port is actually for the charging cable that comes with the iPad. So you'll get the smaller end of the cable, and then you'll just put it into that little port at the bottom until you hear a click, and then the other end goes into an outlet in your wall. You'll know that the iPad is charging when the little lightning symbol appears in the middle of the battery icon. So while the iPad is charging, you can keep using the iPad, but it just might cause the iPad to charge a little bit slower. Once the battery percentage hits 100%, you'll know that the iPad is fully charged and you can unplug it from the wall socket. The iPad that we lend you will come with its own internet or data plan. So that means you don't need to have an internet plan at home in order for the iPad to be able to connect to the internet. So in order to check if your iPad is currently connected to internet, you want to go back to the top right-hand corner where we found the battery icon, and next to it, you should see a little LTE symbol. So if you see that symbol, it indicates that the iPad is connected to the internet and you're good to go. Now, if you don't see the LTE symbol next to your battery percentage icon, it means that the data plan for the iPad isn't turned on and you won't be able to get onto the internet. In order to turn it on, we'll need to go and change the settings of the iPad. First, we'll need to find the icon that will open the settings of the iPad. So if you just take a look on the main screen of the iPad, you'll see this little gray icon here that says settings underneath it. That's the one that you want to click to open the settings. So let's just give that a touch and you'll see that it will open the settings of the iPad. So next, we'll take a look at the column on the left-hand side, and right here at the top, you'll see cellular data. That's the one that we want to click on to connect the iPad to internet. So once you've clicked onto that, you'll notice that on the right-hand side, the settings for cellular data will come up, and it should be the very first setting at the top that we want. It says cellular data, and next to it, you'll see this little button here. If you just give that a tap with your finger, you'll see that the button turns green, and after a few seconds, it should connect, and then you will see the LTE symbol pop up, and it will let you know that your iPad is able to go on the internet now. So one setting that you want to be careful of when connecting to internet is the setting here that says airplane mode. So you want to make sure that the button for airplane mode is always gray and indicates that it's turned off, because when the setting is turned on, it will make it so that you cannot connect to the internet. So I'll show you just as an example what happens if we turn airplane mode on. So if I just tap that with my finger, it will automatically turn off our cellular data. So our internet, you'll see that no matter how much I press this button, it won't turn on. And a little airplane icon will appear next to the battery percentage to let you know that airplane mode is on. So if this happens, that means we won't be able to go on the internet no matter how much we try to turn it on. So just always make sure that airplane mode is turned off, and you'll see that it automatically connects back to the internet for us once that is off. If English isn't your first language and you would feel more comfortable using your iPad in a different language, you're actually able to change that through the settings of the iPad. So if you head over to the left-hand column of the iPad and put your finger on the screen and scroll upwards, you will see that more setting options become available. So if we click into the general settings, you'll see that the options on the right-hand side have changed. So we want to go into the setting for language and region. And at the very top, it will show the setting option for the iPad language. So right now we have it set to English. If you want to change it, you just click into there, and a little window with all the available languages will pop up. So again, same with the settings. If you put your finger on the screen and you scroll upwards, more options become available. So you can just scroll through the whole list until you find the language that you want to change the iPad to. Once you found the one that you would like, you just click into it, and then a little window will pop up asking you if you want to change it to this selected language. So once we press continue, you'll see that the iPad screen turns off and the iPad will restart and boot everything up in the language that you've chosen. The iPad has a sensor inside of it that tells the screen what the orientation of the iPad is in so that the screen displays the right way. So right now we can see that the iPad is standing upright lengthwise and the screen matches that. If we were to turn this iPad on its side, you'll see that the screen automatically rotates so that the icons are displayed on its side now as well to match the iPad. Some people don't like this feature as all the turning sometimes can get disorienting and confusing. So if you wanted to disable this feature, it's very easy to do so. So the first step is to put your finger on the top right-hand corner of the screen where the battery icon is located and quickly flick downwards once. So this action can take a little bit of practicing to get right, but once you're able to do it, it will pull open this smaller menu screen here. Once this menu is open, you'll want to look for this icon right here that shows an arrow going in a circle with a lock in the middle of it. This is the icon that will either enable or disable the feature that allows the screen to automatically rotate. So right now we see that this icon is unhighlighted. The lock in the middle shows that it's open, which indicates to us that this feature is turned on. So in order to disable the feature and stop the screen from rotating on its own, you just want to press the icon. And now you'll see that the icon is highlighted, the arrow and lock turns red, and the lock shows that it's now closed. So that indicates to us that the screen rotation feature is turned off and the screen will not rotate along with the iPad now. So we can actually test that out. So first we'll close this little menu here, and to do so you just press on the screen anywhere and the menu will close. So now you'll see that if I turn the iPad, the screen doesn't rotate and it stays stationary. If we want to turn the rotation setting back on, we just follow the same steps. We'll go to the top right hand corner, flick downwards, the menu will appear, and we'll press that icon again and it will enable the feature. So now if we turn the iPad, the screen will rotate along with it.